I'm not used to do this. I like a setting where you drink all together, but a little bit difficult. Châteauneuf du Pape, the white grape varieties are the Rosanne and the Claret and Grenache. And they have all their own characteristics, and very important is that most of them go in a blend like this. It's about 35% Rosanne and Grenache Blanc, but also Boubelanc. Boubelanc is a very strange grape variety, it never ripens, so it always gives a kind of freshness to the wine, and can be a very interesting grape variety for Paso Robles. It cools down the wine a little bit, even in a red wine, because it's allowed to blend the red grapes with the white grapes, not after fermentation. So it's not allowed to blend the wines afterwards. So that's different from California, where there are no rules at all, I think. Actually, that's interesting to mention. Châteauneuf du Pape was, we know the AOC, Appellation Contrôlée system, was the first in France. Appellation Contrôlée was set up by the owner of Fortia, Baron. So what you get out of Châteauneuf du Pape white is you can always get a flowery bit of Provençal herbs. What typical is, and we will see that in the red later, is that kind of silky layer coming from the Claret and from the Rosanne. There's few producers make 100% Rosanne wine, like Beaucastel. They make the Vivigne Rosanne, and also in the regular one is a lot of Rosanne. And what's interesting is that most of the winemakers block the metal, but that means technically it's very easy. It preserves freshness. So when you go to the metal, it will be softer, and when you block it, you will keep a little bit more attack in the wine. But you have some winemakers like Beaucastel do not block the metal because they are after a more silky round wine. It's just their style. What's typical for Châteauneuf du Pape, especially the ones with, they have all Grenache and Syrah, is the part of the Garrigue. The Garrigue, you will maybe have heard it before, is kind of strong taste, a herby taste. It's coming from the wild herbs of the Provence. So not the lavender or not the cultivated, but really the wild herbs. They are aside of the vineyards. You see bushes with all kind of wild herbs, and you get this. It's very typical for Châteauneuf du Pape in the wine. It's too warm to ask it. You see there again, this is the 06 vintage. 07 is Parker, the best vintage ever. Okay, I will not argue with it, but not for me. For me, sometimes I have better experiences with 06. 06 is in general sexy, it's elegant, it's open. 05 is a little bit more tannic, but it's opening now. I had a chance to join a big tasting of 05, and I must say that wines are really blossoming at this time. So in general, Châteauneuf du Pape has a sequence of good years, with the exception of 2002. They had a flooding just 1 week before the harvest. Everything was gone. It really water that high. There are some pictures in the book, and that's, imagine, good vintage. The winemakers are waiting for it to harvest, and then you get all of a sudden a storm, and everything is ruined.
So this is the tradition, the Jara? Yeah, right on.
Tradition Giraud, you have a wine consultant who is really very popular this time. His name is Philippe Cambi. When you do a Google search, you cannot miss him. He's a very big man. He's bigger than me, and he's a very nice man. And he's a man who is after what I was telling, the fruit in a wine. He wants fruit, upfront fruit in a wine, and you will be able to taste the difference in the styles. So when you have the Giraud, and he's apparently also Clos Saint-Jean, there's the last wine. He's also the wine, not a winemaker, but the consultant. Okay, it's not corked. More and on, 2007 big vintage. It's a lush vintage. It's a bombastic vintage. But when I have a bottle and I cannot finish myself in 1 or 2 days, I do not think that's a good situation in a way. They are really big wines. And 2007 Montredor is an exception. Montredor is a big producer, really big producer. And they're making good wines, but for me only good in a way makes a bit excitement. Maybe it has to do with when you're big, you know, to control things or to be more flexible in things. You need a rigid system. I don't know, but you know, they have all ingredients to make a good wine. And I have good hope that one time they will make a different cuvée. Right now they just make one wine, and I had a chance to taste some different from different barrels from different parts in the vineyard, and I think whenever they want to launch another cuvée, they will be very successful. But this is 2007, very dark in color. That's in general, and very fruity upfront, very bombastic wines. Nice touch of garlic in it. You can taste in the finish a little bit oak. You can see in the book they use 30–40% 1 year some new oak barrels. So you will get that, especially at young age. It will integrate. It's not too dominant, so I'm not afraid of that. Clos Saint-Jean is Vivigne. Vivigne means old vines. So they make several cuvées. The base is the one without the Vivigne we have in Europe. For the US market they make the Vivigne non-filtre. So it's not filtered because that's what the other one is not filtered also, but you know, they just put it on a label, it sells better. Okay.